Hey, I'm Ernesto, I make tech and breaks, and today I'm gonna teach you the keys to finishing music consistently. Every producer's biggest fear is that dreaded folder. You know what I'm talking about. The one that fills your hard drive with failure. Your unfinished beats folder. I'm gonna teach you how to turn that bastard into something productive that will help you finish more tracks. Ever since I started making music, I've been on the search for a method that will let me make music faster and more efficiently. And from everything that I've found, I've put together this list. We're gonna start by organizing your setup so every minute you spend in the studio becomes more productive. The first thing you have to do is organize your samples and create your own sample packs. One of the easiest ways to improve your workflow and speed up your production process is to save and organize every sound you've ever liked. I have saved every hit from every song I've ever released and organized it so I can come back to it whenever I want. I have the bass from Cut the Mids, the acid from Mueve, I have the lead from All Nighter, all of them accessible to me at any point in time. And also, every time I find a sound that I like in any sample pack, I've added to my favorites pack. Don't let your ego get the best of you. When I started out, I thought that if I didn't make every sound on every track from scratch, I wasn't a real producer. But you know who's also not a real producer? The guys that aren't finishing tracks. Most of your favorite producers are using the same hat in their 200 generic tech house tracks. And you know what? Nobody cares. I suggest taking one day of this week just to organize your samples and put them in a small folder. So next time you start a track, you won't waste hours doing this. Another crucial way to organize your projects is to save your presets. A lot of people don't know and a lot of people don't use this, but you can easily save every setting on every plugin you've ever had and even effects racks full of plugins just by grouping them and moving them to your favorites. This way, the next time you want to get the same drum rack that you had in that track you released 5 years ago, you can easily grab it from your favorites and slap it on your drum bus. The time in the studio is sacred, and if you want to be productive, you must turn off your phone, turn off your TV, and concentrate on what you're doing. I usually recommend at least an hour of no phone, no TV, direct Ableton headspace. It's also very useful to take a 15-minute break every hour so you can rest your ears and get out of that state. Now we're gonna get a little more technical and talk about getting out of the loop. This is a problem a lot of producers have, and it's usually related to arrangement problems. So I'm gonna run you through a little exercise that's gonna help you get out of the loop quicker into finishing tracks. If you're having arrangement and loop problems, what we're gonna do is find one reference track and lay it on the arrangement view. Then we're gonna go through it meticulously, tagging where every element comes in and every element comes out, including where the breaks are, the drops are. Then we're gonna go back to the session view where we have our loop, and we're gonna start setting up scenes from what we've seen on the reference track. Now we're gonna record our track. I tend to do this because it's an easier way to make everything flow and to understand where things need to come in and out. Of course, we're still gonna use our markers as reference. After we record this, the only thing we'll have to do is create transitions and automate. But you'll already have a great looking skeleton and be a lot closer to finishing your track. Now we're gonna talk about dividing your process. If you're having a hard time finishing tracks, this could be the problem. What you have to do is when you're starting a new track, you're gonna focus one day on making drum loops. And you'll make the best drum loops you've ever made. Believe me. And then you're gonna take another day just for sound design. Play with your gear, make any kind of weird sound you could think of. So after you do this, when you sit down to make your track, you're gonna have an arsenal of ideas that are gonna let you make music faster. Once you start making your music and you have the finished track, you're gonna stop, export your stems, and commit to what you're doing. If you don't commit, you will tinker forever. When you decide that a sound is right, turn it into audio, and that way you can move into a mixing mindset that will be separate from your production process. This way you'll be able to move forward and close out your tracks. Now we're gonna talk about how to organize your time and how to set your mindset to finish tracks. The first thing you have to do is get a Trello account. You can get Asana, you can get Monday.com, but Trello is free. Here's my Trello account. As you can see, I have a music production section where I have the beats that I've made, tracks that are in progress, tracks that I need to mix, and finished tracks. This helps me keep organized, which leads me to my next point. Set deadlines. Deadlines are incredibly important and they will push you to finish your tracks. I understand that some of you are not getting remix requests with deadlines. It doesn't matter. Create your own deadline. Tweet them out. Send them to your family. Make yourself responsible. Decide when you're going to finish the track so you'll be able to play it at a certain gig or send it to a certain label. Believe me, this will work. Take an hour a week to learn something. If you use the SSL compressor on all your buses, take that hour to read the manual and check where the input level is the most efficient and creates the best sound. So next time you sit down, you don't break up your process when you have to look something up, you'll just be able to use it. Every moment that your process is interrupted is incredibly detrimental to your productivity. Another thing that's gonna let you close out your tracks is to listen to your tracks outside of the DAW. Go to your car and listen to your track a couple of times with a notepad and write down what is missing and what you need to change. When I'm in the middle of my mixing process, I will do this with 2 different types of headphones in my car and everywhere I can possibly imagine. This will let you dial in where your levels need to be and listen to the track from another perspective. Now I'm going to go over my process. My process consists of making 10 beats. I make 10 beats before I decide to choose one and commit fully to that one beat until I finish it. That's what works for me. You have to find what works for you. I came to this conclusion because I used to choose any beat I made and went through the process of creating the full track, mixing and mastering, then found out it wasn't that good. That is such a terrible feeling because you feel like you wasted so many hours. So now what I do is essentially create this bunch of beats, discard the ones that I don't think are good enough, and choose the ones that I feel that are gonna be worth my time. And when I have these loops, I try to have every sound I can possibly imagine in them before I record the full arrangement. And then I go into automation. I find that this way I have a fresh mind and I don't get to the point where I hate my own tracks and discard them. I really hope these tips help you out and that you'll be finishing music in no time. If you have any comments or any tips of your own, be sure to leave them down below and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Leave a like in this video and subscribe if you're new. We're gonna be coming with a lot of more content soon. You can follow me on my socials here at Ernesto's Beats everywhere. And of course, check out my new EP with John Gaudi on my Techno Weighs a Ton. It's acid, breaks, techno, what's not to like? We have a gritty techno remix from yeah, something like that. Anyways, take care and make those tracks.